Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, fine. So today's agenda is synthesis of conventional D latch, which will be taken by me. Synthesis of D flip flop, student volunteer 1 for 10 minutes. So I think so. Yash Kadam will present it. Synthesis of MUX based D latch, student volunteer 2. MUX. So D flip flop, Yash, are you presenting or Chandan is presenting? You are no one.
Sir, no one is actually.
Okay, fine, no problem. So I will take agenda A1 and A2. A3 will be presented by Yash, A4 by Chandan, and then I'll be presenting the simulation. Okay, maybe. I think so. If Yash and Chandan have also done simulation, that A5 can be taken by them, no problem. Okay, fine. The synthesis of conventional D latch by staff. So uh, let us go and revisit what we did that day. So this is our D latch. Input D, input En, entity name is DL, output is Q, and it is level triggered. So we have written architecture body for that, for D latch. Yeah. So this is the block diagram, and truth table is there, and entity declaration, comma D. Okay, fine. Okay, through. Okay, so file, new project. Path is already set. C colon Xilinx HST. Okay, and let me first go and see if there is already a folder existing. I don't have any project called DL, so it will work. So I will just say Control A, Control C. Implementation mode of tool, target line, right click new source, VHDL module, paste the name. Change the architecture name to entity name underscore arch. Our first input En, D data input, and Q is output. Next, finish. So logic is if En equal to 1, so En equal to, it's an active I enabled level triggered D latch. So I will use behavioral modeling style. Process both inputs. If en equal to logic 1, then q is assigned d semicolon. Else q is assigned q. Basically, we want to tell that if enable equal to 1, then the output should copy the input data d. Otherwise, it should not copy, but it should remember its state. So I will just say q is assigned q. And for if, we have put an end if. For process, I will put an end process. And my VHDL model is through. Okay, I'll copy this, save it, doc, and I will select the VHDL file. I will synthesize XST. So it is giving an error. Error is on line number 27, telling object q of mode out cannot be read. So I will click this and I will see this. Okay. So as I told you, the rule is that to the left of assignment operator, there should be output signal. To the right, there should be input signal. But because q is defined as output, that is why it is not possible. So we resolve this problem in the simplest way by defining a dummy signal with the name qtemp. So I will say signal q colon data type is standard underscore logic. Okay. If I want to initialize this temporary variable to 0, then I can say colon equal to single tick 0. We have to do this. What is the importance of initializing the temporary signal to 0? We will come to know when we actually do the modeling of counter. So there we will not do the initialization. We will see what is the simulation, and we will remove the problem in simulation by initializing it. Okay. So now what I will do, I will not initialize it. And here, as I told you that when we use dummy signals, all the inputs are assigned to dummy signals, and then we assign the value of dummy signal to the final output, right? So qtemp is a dummy signal and q is a final output. Okay. So if en equal to 1, then qtemp gets the input d, else qtemp gets qtemp. Now I will come outside the process, and before exiting the architecture, I will write one statement: q is assigned
Hello. Sorry, it got stuck for some time.
Yeah, now it is okay, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now? Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Okay, fine. There was some problem. Okay, fine. Okay, so synthesis is complete, and RTL schematic is this. Inside we have a D latch, zoom to full view, nothing inside. Oh no, sorry. Latches memory generated from incomplete test. Actually, we got a tick mark before. It's strange actually because our if then else clause is not incomplete. Let us see what is the problem. See, actually there is a conflict now. It has shown a warning, but now it is showing a tick mark also. We can neglect this. It was a previous warning. It is still there in the cache. So RTL schematic, go inside to full view, inside. Technology schematic, go inside, iBuff. That is one D latch. Okay, LD. The latch has been created. Okay. So now one more thing I wanted to tell you that if I don't give the else statement, what will happen? So I want to teach you a concept which is called as incomplete ifs. So remember one thing that complete if then else statements actually synthesize to multiplexers, and incomplete if statements they synthesize to latches, and latches are never preferred by a digital designer because latches are level triggered, so they slow down the system. At the same time, slow down the system is basically they increase the propagation delay. So a VHDL coder or a designer should never ever use statements which will infer latches after synthesis, right? So depending upon which kind of construct I'm using in the architecture body, it will decide that that particular VHDL model will synthesize to logic gates, it is basic gates, that is AND or not, or it will synthesize to multiplexers, or it will synthesize to latches or flip-flops, right? So your VHDL model getting synthesized to basic gates is acceptable, to multiplexers is acceptable, to flip-flops is acceptable, but synthesized to latches is not acceptable at all because it increases the propagation delay and also it slows down or lowers the maximum operating frequency of the system. What I will do is that I will remove this whole statement. Okay, so I will intentionally remove. So what will happen is this is now called as incomplete if statement. Okay, so we see here I am telling that if en equal to logic 1, then qtemp should get the input D end if. That means what? Because I have removed the else statement, I am not telling to the tool that what is to be done or what action is to be taken if en comes as 0. This is called as incomplete if statements, right? So I will save this and I will see what is the comment I receive from the tool. So I will say right click run. Okay, so you note that what is the change which I did in architecture body. I have converted the if then else clause into an incomplete if. Okay, you see here comment warning found 1-bit latch for signal qtemp. Latches may be generated from incomplete case or if statements. We do not recommend the use of latches in FPG or CPLD designs as they may lead to timing problems. Okay, there are timing issues. Timing issues specifically means hold time and setup time violations which are not at all acceptable. Okay, so I again change the code to a correct one. So incomplete if or clause if or case are not allowed because they infer latches or they synthesize into latches. That is why we should never do that. And save. I will say run. We will neglect this. It should not come. It's an incompatibility. You cannot get a white tick mark against a fluorescent green background and still have a warning. So if there was actually a warning, we should have got to the left of synthesis XST word a white exclamation against a yellow background. So we can neglect this. Okay, fine. So this was the agenda, first agenda from my part. Second is synthesis of D flip-flop again by staff. Okay, yeah. So please understand one thing that if I want to convert the last session's architecture body into that of a D flip-flop, what I have to do is that I have to make the system S triggered instead of level triggered. Okay, so I will just change the block diagram of D latch into a D flip-flop. Okay, so first I will draw the block diagram for a D latch. So the name was DL. It was having an input D. It was having a positive or active high enable Q. So I will modify this block diagram in this way. I will first change the name. I will change the name to D underscore FF. This remains same. This remains same. Only difference is that now instead of enable and instead of level triggering, I will make the system into edge triggering, and arbitrarily let me choose that let my system be positive edge triggered. So positive edge triggering is indicated like this, and instead of en I will now write a clock. Okay, so now if you change the level triggering of D latch to an edge triggering and replace the signals name from en to clk, this becomes the correct block diagram for a D flip flop. Okay, and here my truth table will be CLK Qn plus 1 0 1 falling edge. It will not change state, it will remember, and as soon as the rising edge of the clock comes, the Qn plus 1 will get D. Okay, so now quickly in less than 5 minutes I'll write the architecture body. So I will say architecture D underscore FF underscore arch of D underscore FF is, then I will define the temporary signal which is compulsory, qtemp colon standard underscore logic. Then I will say architectures begin, then I will say the process clause, and here I will just write down D comma CLK instead of D comma EN as in latch. I will say begin, and I will say if rising underscore edge bracket CLK, then so as soon as the rising edge comes, the D should be sent to the output. So I will say qtemp is assigned D semicolon, and I will say else. So when I say else, it refers to all three conditions, that is clock is equal to 0, clock is equal to 1, and also falling edge. Okay, so what to do when the rising edge comes, we already told here. When I say else, it means clock equal to 1 or clock equal to 0 or even falling edge. Okay, so here I will say the same statement which I told in a D latch for En equal to 0. I will say qtemp is assigned qtemp end space if end space process, and I will say end architecture end D underscore FF underscore arch. Okay, so my architecture body has been written. So just go to the tool and flash it. What I will do in the meantime is that I will copy this thing into Notepad so I can use it in my model for D flip flop. So I will say Control C. I will just put it in Notepad. Here, go here, go here, file, new project, and I will just say D underscore FF, Control A, Control C, next, next, finish. Okay, go here, right click, new source, VHDL module, paste it. And here I will say D CLK Q. Q is my output. Finish. Float. Delete. Delete. Control A, Control C. Go to the tool. make some changes here. I will say CLK. Please understand one thing, whether I write down D comma CLK or CLK comma D, in concurrent statements, the order of signals is not at all important. The order of statements is not at all important. Whichever signal in the sensitivity list undergoes a event, accordingly, the action will be taken. So now, instead of level triggering, what I will do, I will delete this and I will say rising underscore edge clock, then I will say qtem gets t. That's it. I think so. Everything is done. If rising edge comes, then qtem gets t, else qtem gets qtem. I think so. Things are fine. So I will dock it. Go here. Synthesizing system. You see here, same as our block diagram, CLK and D are inputs. There is an output and the entity name is D underscore FF. Go inside. And please note this, that the RTL schematic of a D flip-flop looks different than the RTL schematic for D latch. If you remember that there it had given the name DL. I will flash it to you. Go to start. And this is what we did few minutes ago. Here, see the RTL schematic here. Okay. Here inside. So it has made a D latch. And if I go to start and if I say D flip-flop, we are here. Okay. So it is written FD. So please understand one thing, in Xilinx RTL schematic terminology, when I say FD, it should be read from right to left. So FD is written as D flip-flop. Sorry, FD is read as D flip-flop. Now, if I would have put a reset in my entity declaration, that means if I would have added a reset in my block diagram, it would have read FDC. It means D flip-flop with clear. If I add one more signal in the block diagram called as preset PR, it will write the name as FDCP. So FDCP means it is a D flip-flop with preset and clear, right? So FD means it is a plain D flip-flop with having only clock triggering, no reset and preset is there. If I add a reset, it will type FDC, that means D flip-flop with clear. If I add a preset also, it will show it FDCP, that is D flip-flop with preset and clear. Okay, let us see what is the technology schematic. Go inside and it has used an FD. Okay, you see here. Now when I'm double clicking the D flip-flop element here, I'm not getting anything inside. That means what? It is a ready-made logical resource available in the architecture of FPGA. How do you know this? I told you that FPGA's architecture has a logic density which is expressed in a unit called as CLBs, that is configurable logic blocks, and one CLB equal to two slices, and each slice is a combination of LUTs and D flip-flop. So in the available slices which are available in the CLBs, one of them has been used. So if I read the design summary here by clicking this icon, then I can come to know what is the device utilization summary. So I close this, and issues. So it is actually launching design summary report viewer. Yes, it's here, yeah. So I can stop this. Okay. So we see here in the device utilization summary here, we are seeing number of slices, no slices are used, but it is a global clock. GCLK is global clock because we have defined one clock signal, it is actually used that. Fine. So we will close this, open the tool, and we are here. Okay. Yeah. So our second agenda is over. So synthesis of D flip-flop is also over, and synthesis of convention D latch is also over. Okay. So now we have synthesis of mux based D latch, which is presented by Yash. Yash, are you ready to present?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
but
Okay, I'll make you presenter. Wait.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Chandan and Yash, both of you have been made presenters, so you can immediately flash your IAC screen. So as I told you that you have to first show the block diagram, and then explain how according to block diagram you have actually you have done the modeling. Okay, fine. So if as we can see, okay, yes, you can take over the explanation
Yes, sir.
itself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we are going to
We are going
implement
to implement
D-latch using
D-latch
Mux.
using Mux.
This is the parent entity. I am going to use SMS, structural modeling style.
Modeling style.
Okay, so this is the parent entity. This is the child entity, which is simply 2 is to 1 Mux. The D-latch has D enable and Q output. Okay, and I have written all the input and outputs of Mux inside because it is a child entity. Okay, and using this I have made a D latch like we saw yesterday just by adding a feedback over here. Now for this feedback I have used a intermediate signal named QTEM. Okay, and the D is connected to I1 and enable is connected to select line. So this is an active high enable D latch. So I'll go to the IC and start the coding now. Okay, so here we are. Are you able to see the IC screen?
Yes, yes, we are able to see.
Okay, I'll open the, oh, sorry, just a second. So I have a this I'll change to my username POFG, and so I'll give it a name like the block diagram DL underscore mux. Okay, I'll copy it. This is top level sources HDL. Next, this is non-specified general purpose Spartan 3E XCS 3 250 3S 250E, and package is 2 PQ208, speed gate is -5. Okay, this is all selected. Then next, this is the summary, finish. Okay, so now I will select this in implementation mode.
Yes, you can just go through the steps. There is no need of explanation. Just do the
Okay, sir.
coding, do the synthesis. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Just you select, and it's not needed.
Q is output. Okay, I'll use this ready-made given framework. This is the entity declaration.
Yes, you can float this window, so we can. There will be larger space to code.
Okay, so in the architecture now I'll create a component. Named Mux21, just like our block diagram. This is Mux21 actually. So it has I0.
Yes, you can include S also here in the same line.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we don't have to type one more line. Okay, continue.
Next, I'll say Y as the output, like here. So this is done. Now I'll declare the intermediate signal that we have used, Q temp over here. So I can use it in port mapping. Now I'll instantiate the uh, child entity. So I'll give a name mux21 underscore 1.
Yes, you are going wrong in one place. Component instantiation and port mapping is to be done in the logical section of the architecture body. You are still in the declaration part.
Oh,
Okay. No. You can declare intermediate signals there. Only component instantiation and port mapping is to be done in the logic part. That is between the begin and end architecture.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Also, one more correction. Yes, you can change the architecture name to entity name underscore art so that students can be with the uniformity of our nomenclature for giving architecture names. Yeah.
So the first one is I0. Now according to our block diagram, I0 is connected to Q temp.
Yeah.
Next is I1, which is connected to D. Next is enable, which is connected to S. The output is connected to Q temp again.
Okay.
And finally here I'll assign Q temp.
No.
Okay, so this is done. Now the library statements, I'll write the library statements and entity declaration and AB of child. So this is this. And for this, I can copy this. Now I'll write the architecture body. Process. Sensitivity list, I'll have I0, I1. Process begin. Now here I'll do if S is equal to tick mark, single tick, 0. Y is assigned I0. Next, else is assigned I1 and process. And
Yes, you forgot end if.
yes, sir.
Yeah. If I would be taking an exam, I would not have told you. But then again, if there are errors, then it will take more time for synthesis. That is why.
Okay, I'll talk it. And now we will synthesize it. So there is a warning. We will ignore this warning. It is saying that there is a combinational loop for Q. That this is the combinational loop they are talking about. Okay, we will give the RTL schematic. So this is the, we can see it, there is a feedback path over here and there is a mux inside. Okay, next is the technology schematic. So we can see it is using a logical LUT and it is implementing a 2:1 mux. Inside this we can see that it is our normal 2:1 mux using logic gates implementation.
Yes, what do you mean by LUT3? Because previously we saw LUT2, LUT3. What is LUT3?
So a different logical unit.
No, LUT stands for lookup table and
Okay.
LUT3 stands for 3-input LUT. So LUT3 is a programmable logic resource which has an ability to implement any 3-variable Boolean function. That is
Yes.
within the canonical form from 000 to 111. That is from A bar, B bar, C bar, odd with A bar, B bar, C till odd with ABC. So all SOP form terms in the canonical form for a 3-input Boolean function can implement using LUT3. That is what it means. Okay, you continue.
Okay, sir.
Continue.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now I will write a test bench to see if it how it works. So we will go into simulation. I will close this. Now in simulation mode, I'll right click on this new source test bench. Underscore TB. Okay. So I want to simulate the parent entity. Sir, it's asking, would you like to reload? Okay. So I'll remove this. I'll remove this. I don't need this clock. I will remove the clock generation process. In the process for, I'll write a process for D. So, okay. I'll remove.
Yes, do you have a handwritten drawn waveforms on with timeline?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
just
sir.
show that so we can come to know that why you have written the process like that using wait statements.
Sir, so uh, this is the waveform for D. This is 1 1 0 0 0 1 0 1 0, and each bit is for 10 nanoseconds, and enable has a time period of 60 nanoseconds. So it will be for high for 30 nanoseconds and low for 30 nanoseconds. And we'll see how it is, how I'll implement this in test bench. Okay, so for D, in process D, I'll say is assigned 1, and I'll wait nanoseconds. Okay, I'll just copy paste this. The length of this sequence is 9, so I'll copy paste this 9 times. Just a second. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now it is 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 1 0 1. Okay. So 1 1. Then there is 3 zeros.
Yes, you can save some time here. For the first two
Yes, sir.
intervals, it is 1. So you can write down wait for 20 nanoseconds.
Yes.
Then t
sir.
gets 0, wait for 30 nanoseconds. We will be saving 3 to 4 wait statements.
Okay, sir.
No. You can keep the first one. D is assigned 1. You can say wait for 20. Then you make D get 0, wait for 30. And then you can go on because after that it's toggling every 10 nanoseconds.
Now I'll copy this and I'll write a process for enable to. So I'll remove all this. Right. Enable is assigned not of enable. Then I'll wait for half the time period. So this is done. I'll save it. Dock it. And then I'll select the test bench, and in this I'll do this. Okay, it's done. Now we will simulate it. Float it. Zoom to full view. So here we can see that it is the same waveform that we saw there. So this is first one is D. Is it visible?
Yes, just zoom it. We just want to see the first 100 nanoseconds. So we can see it in a proper way. Yeah, just zoom it. Yeah, and then you can use the scroll bar below. Scroll it. There's a scroll bar below. Scroll it to the left.
This one.
Yeah. So no, scroll it to the left. To your left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can explain it. Yeah.
Okay, this is the first 20 nanoseconds for which it is high. D. This first one is D. Next one is enable, and the last one is output Q. So it's high for 20 nanoseconds. Then for the next 30 nanoseconds, it's low. Then it toggles and it repeats this D. Okay. Then enable is high for 60 nanoseconds. Okay, I gave it 60 nanoseconds, so that's why it's coming for 60 nanoseconds. Then next is for it's like a square wave waveform with 50% duty cycle. So this is 60 high, 60 low, and this will keep going on. As this is active high, the output will follow the input only when the enable is high. So over here D is 1, then it's 0, and then we can see that it is following it. Then it remains high when this is disabled. So it remains high, it does not follow this D waveform. And then when again this enable becomes high, the Q again starts following D. Okay, we can see this continuing after this also. Okay, so that's it from my side.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Yash, for the nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I'll make you an attendee, or okay, you can remain. Chandan.
Yes, I am audible.
You can take or you can share the screen. Okay. So just a minute. So Chandan is going to present this thing. Can in-out mode replace the dummy signal? That is what is going to present. You can start, Chandan.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'll unshare myself. Okay.
Is it visible?
Just a minute. Let's wait. Let it come. Yeah, no, I did not pin.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah.
Chandan,
Okay,
you can
so-
unshare yourself.
What, sir?
No, not Chandan. Yes, you can unshare because his thing is visible behind. Acha, this is yours?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
this is mine.
Okay, no issue. Continue.
So the objective is, can we replace the dummy signal with in out for Q? Okay. So, sir, should I do a new project or
No.
getting the
You
same?
can explain. You can explain. Exist. What you can do, Chandan, is that you can use a dummy variable in this same architecture body, show the synthesis, and if there are any comments, and then you can replace it with in out. Okay, so you can make Q as out now and use Q temp initially, and then you can show the changes if are there any changes. Okay, yeah. So define a temp dummy signal called Q temp, like what Yash had done, or I did it.
So we'll define a Q temp with standard logic. As we are not giving anything like in or out, it will take any input, right? So the process will have sensitivity list input D and En, and then we'll assign, if En is 0, then we'll assign Qtemp to Qtemp. Then if En is 1 or else, it will assign Qtemp. It will assign D to Qtemp. Then after end of the process, we'll assign Qtemp to Q. Okay, so that's the basic idea what we were doing earlier. We'll save it and try to synthesize it. Okay, semicolon. So here we got the warning for that latches can be generated from incomplete. We can ignore this because we're getting it anyway. So it is synthesized and we can see the RTL schematic of the same. So this is the RTL schematic.
Chandan, you can just redefine Q as in out, and you can
Directly started. Okay, sir.
derived answer that whether in out can replace the usage of dummy signals. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Different presentation.
Yes.
So now we define the Q as in out, and we'll try to synthesize the same. We'll directly assign Q to the Q when enable is 0 and assign D to the Q. Okay, so we'll save it and try to resynthesize it. So the synthesis is complete and that warning can be ignored. Now, sir, should I show the test bench? Because I have completed it. So, hello.
Yeah. So you have written test bench for what? For the same sequence, right?
For the same sequence, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So you can flash the test bench. No need to write it.
So that's the test bench. For D, we are giving the sequence 1100010110, same as the given. And for En, we have made it on for 30 nanoseconds and off for 60 nanoseconds. In short, we have given the time period of 60 nanoseconds. Okay. Then
But En you written En is complemented. Acha, it was 220. You
yes,
made it 30 now. It
yeah.
was initially 220, so I had asked you. Okay, fine. Continue.
So we'll simulate it. The syntax check is completed and we are getting the 5 tick mark. Then we'll simulate the same.
Chandan, you can remove the right side figure window. So there is a larger area to view.
Okay, sir. Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible. You can float it and you can show. Float the waveform window.
it is on for 30 nanoseconds and off for 30 nanoseconds, right? EN signal. And for D, we are getting 1100001010. Okay. So for first 30 nanosecond, it is following D. And then for next 30 nanoseconds, it is following the previous output, that is 0. Then again, after the 60 nanoseconds, for 30 nanoseconds, it is following D, which is 0, 1, and 0. The same output we can see I've drawn here. It is on for first 20 nanoseconds, and then at 70 it is again on, and 80 to 90 it is off. So we are getting the similar output.
And then you can maximize the waveform window. I want to ask you something.
Okay, sir.
Yes. See, from our waveforms, we can clearly appreciate that your system is remembering 0. But how can I appreciate that it is remembering 1? That is, the output was 1 and the enable was pulled down. So it remembered 1. So it is, your waveform is showing it is remembering state 0. So where should I make the changes? Can you tell me?
So we can increase or decrease the duration of EN. From that we can get it, because whatever EN I've chosen, like time period, it is making this kind of situation. So if we consider it for 40 nanoseconds or 50 nanoseconds, 60.
Okay. No problem, I got it. No need to make the changes. Thank you. The presentation was very nice.
Okay, sir.
And now last part is this thing. You can unshare yourself.
Okay, sir.
But you have to remain as a presenter. So just a minute. So now our last part of agenda is this thing that we want to actually show using simulation that when we provide the same input sequence of D to latch and flip-flop, their outputs are actually different. So simulating D